morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video from. My name is Acheng. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be sharing one of my favorite recipes. Yes, I know I have a lot, but today I'll be preparing smothered pork chops. They're one of my favorite, and with smothered pork chops you can use any type of ingredient that you would like. For me, sometimes I would use mushrooms, sometimes I would use bell peppers. It does not really matter, to each his own. But for today's recipe, I'll be making smothered pork chops in an amazing thick and flavorful mushroom sauce that I make, and then I smother the pork chops in them. So I'm so excited about this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I know we can do it, guys. So hit the subscribe button and let me know, do you like smothered pork chops? Do you prepare your pork chops smothered or just barbecued? You can prepare it different ways, but this is just one of the ways that I like preparing it. So if you have a recipe that you'd like to share, please comment below and let me know what you think about this video. Thank you. So for this recipe, I have the pork chops. They come in this piece. It's bone-in pork chop. I feel like it adds a more flavor when it has when it's bone in instead of just the meat, but you can use either or. So I have them cleaned, and what we are going to do first is make sure they're all dry before we add the spices. So going to move it right here and just tap dry using a paper towel, just to help remove all of the water. And I have the bowl where I'm going to use to spice and prepare our pork chops. So I'm going to place it right here. Make sure I removed all of the water. There we have our dry pork chops. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and I am going to create our spice. And for that, I usually use different types of flavors, but today I have black pepper. I have chicken bouillon. I have Slap Your Mama, the hot blend type. I have garlic and onion season. And then I'm going to add some herbs de Provence. It's one of my favorite herbs that is really good for chicken and pork. And after that, we are only going to do dry ingredients because we're going to smother the pork chops afterwards. And then I have my ghee. So I'm going to crush this ghee in this bowl, and I'm just using this bowl to prepare all of the spices that I want, just to make it easy. Black pepper, and also once I prepare the sauce, I'm still going to add different spices like smoked paprika or cayenne pepper. So this is just the first part of it to add some flavor to the meat, because I love just marinating the meat first and let it stay for a minute. You can do days, whichever amount of time you want to add flavor, but I just like marinating my meat first before I prepare it. So this is what we are doing. Okay, so this is my spice blend that I've just created. And you have to be very careful with the salt because the spice, some of the spices that I've added is smoked garlic, onion, and the chicken bouillon, they have salt in them. So that is why I'm skipping the salt altogether. So that is my spice blend. It is ready. And now we are going to add this spice blend to our meat. Going to do using a bowl is better because this is the bowl where the meat is going to marinate. So on both sides, I am going to graciously spread the spice on this other side too. And with this, you're just going to make sure all sides, including these sides right here, have the flavor. Make sure all parts of the meat are covered with the spice, especially the bone. Just make sure you rub it through. You can see it is all covered on this side. No wasting. We're going to cover all the way through. So as you can see, our meat is all covered. We're going to place them right there. And our last part for this step, we are going to cover this because we are going to let it sit and let the marinade with the meat rest. So I'm going just to cover this. Just this creates moisture, traps the moisture in, and also helps to trap the flavor. So we're just going to let our meat rest and then we'll proceed to the next step. So we already have our oil hot, not too hot, but just a good temperature that we need. And the meat right here is already marinated. So what I'm going to do now is brown the pork chops first. Going to use these tongs to make it easy for me. As you can see, this is the meat that we spiced and marinated, and you want to hear that sizzling sound. And I do not want the heat to be too high because I need this meat to cook, brown. Just brown a little bit, but really as it browns, the heat to seep in through the mussels and the middle can cook, so that once we smother it, it cooks evenly all the way. So I'm just going to let this side cook for about 4 to 6 minutes each side, and then after that I will remove it and place it on the same bowl. And then after that we are going to make the smothering sauce, which will have onions. I'm going to add yellow bell peppers or orange bell peppers. I don't know why I always call them yellow, but some mushrooms, because mushroom is the main ingredient for the sauce. Some parsley. Of course, you cannot forget whipping cream, and garlic and ginger, and then we are going to add some spices. So we're going to let this cook for about 4 to 6 minutes. Now it's time to flip on the other side. And as you can see, it's just brown, not too brown, but just brown enough. So we're going to let this side cook the same time as the other side, which will be about 4 to 5 minutes on medium-low heat. Now we have our meat ready. As you can see, it's well done. I'm going to place them on the side. I'm going to cover this so that the moisture can fill in, and then we're going to go ahead and add our onions. Now we can increase the heat a little bit now that our meat is ready. And we're going to saute the onions so that they can turn a little bit softer. While the onion is softening, I am going to go ahead and add some garlic that's already crushed. And I'm just going to add about 2 teaspoons, followed with some crushed ginger, just about a teaspoon. Going to let that cook for just under a minute, because garlic has a very high burning point. And for this sauce, I do not want the onions to overcook, because it will help making the consistency of the sauce much thicker. So now that that is cooked, I am going to add my orange bell peppers. While that is softening, I'm going to start adding some spices. And remember, our meat already has spices that have salt in it, so I have to be very careful with the amounts that I'm using in this step. While that is cooking, these are our mushrooms. They come in whole size, so what I did here, I just went ahead and chopped them. It's not a specific size. You can cook them the way they come, or you can reduce the size, or you can make them even smaller than this. I just like this asymmetrical shape, and I'm going to add 2-hour mixture. I love using this spice. It's herbs de Provence, and it's really amazing for chicken and pork meat. So I'm going to add that. Brings just a very herbal flavor. And I'm eyeballing it, I'm not measuring it. And always remember that less is more. So now I am going to go ahead and add our whipping cream. Depending on how much sauce you want, on how thick you want the sauce to be, that determines the amount of liquid that you add. So as always, I always add some chicken broth. It always comes in handy just to reduce the amount of, I do not want to use too much whipping cream, just a little bit. And from there, I'm going to add some Maggi before we let this sauce simmer. I'm just using 1 cube of Maggi. Cannot forget our cayenne pepper. And we cannot forget our black pepper. Now there's one spice that we have not added, which is the Slap Your Mama. Just going to add a little bit for now. And I'm going to taste. So the salt level is not that much, which is good. You always want to be very careful so that you can have some room to fix it if you need to, or add other spices. So we are going to let this sauce cook for a little bit so that we can taste the spice to make sure it's good, and then we want it to simmer down so that it can get a little bit thick, and then we will be able to add our meat. So we're going to give it about 5 minutes under medium heat. So our sauce is simmering, and at this point what I usually do is I decrease the heat to about medium low, and then I always add vinegar. Vinegar has a way of adding like combining all of the sauce together. It is so good with just bringing all of the the spices, sorry, to blend in perfectly and taste better. And as you can see, I still have a good amount of sauce, which is what I want, because I'm going to add the meat inside and let it cook on low heat, so that if the meat has not cooked inside, it can cook as it gets smothered. Taste to make sure we do not need to add any spices before I add. I am happy with the spice level. So what I'm going to do now is add our pork chops. Here. And what I do here is I just cover the meat, the sauce. Yes, I can go. Just turning them side to side. Make sure they are all covered with the sauce. Last but not least, I am going to add some unsalted butter. And now what we are going to do, we're just going to let this sit and just cook slowly, because we want to make sure that the pork chops are evenly cooked all the way. So we have already reduced the heat. Going to cover it. And we are going to let this cook for just a couple 5 to 7 minutes. So we have our sauce that has simmered, as you can see, and it's cooked all the way. So the last bit of it will be to add our parsley. And there you have it, guys. That is our smothered pork chops. As you can see, it has a sauce in it. You can eat this with any type of sides. You can eat this with green beans, anything that can be on the side. You can eat it with rice. You can eat it with plantains. It's all possible to eat it with any type of side, but it just depends with your taste bud. Here we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Do not forget to subscribe.